A growing number of desperate Americans are applying for refugee status in Canada and in other countries to escape Donald Trump, to get away from the growing police state, to escape the authoritarianism. This is what a world. Did any of us imagine it would be this bad 10 years ago when he came down the golden escalator, literally and proverbially? You know how Donald Trump never shuts up about the flood of asylum seekers coming to the United States, how they're a threat to the country and they're taking advantage of us and it's an invasion. You know all of that nonsense. We've talked about it a lot. Here's something that maybe you did expect, maybe you didn't. Americans are now the ones filing refugee claims to get out of the United States. We have new Canadian immigration data from the first 6 months of 2025. More Americans applied for refugee status in Canada than in all of 2024. These are the highest numbers since 2019. Now, it's still a small share of the total claims, but the trend here is unmistakable. Lawyers are saying a big part of it is trans Americans who simply don't feel safe in the United States, and I understand why. Donald Trump and the Supreme Court have rolled back trans rights. They've banned gender-affirming care. They've kicked people out of the military. They're policing bathrooms. They're trying to decide who gets to play in certain sports. So life is being made so difficult. It's such a hostile administration to trans people and to other Americans that many are saying, I'm going to go to another country and I'm going to say I need to be allowed in because the United States isn't safe for me. And this is where the irony just smacks you in the face, because Donald Trump paints the United States as the final stop. This is where people want to come to. You might go from one country to another, but ultimately people want to get here. And Donald Trump has talked about the paths, right? He says, oh, well, terrorists go to Latin America and then they come over the US-Mexico border, or people from Africa go to Europe, and then from Europe, they try to seek asylum here. All these paths, everybody's desperate to come to the United States. But under Trump, we're seeing something at a greater degree than we've ever seen it before, which is that Americans are standing at the borders of other countries and saying, I need asylum. I need refugee status. Now, Canada's one place where this is going on, but it's not the only place. We talked previously about Ireland. Seeing a major spike in American asylum claims. Our friend Rosie O'Donnell has left the United States and has moved to Ireland. We've seen a lot more of this since Donald Trump's political comeback. We have seen, by the way, most people get denied, but Irish citizenship applications from Americans doubling since 2022. There's Spain, where Americans bought 57% more property there than the year before. That's the fastest growing group of foreign buyers, Americans. The Daily Beast spoke to people saying they're leaving because of the Trump nightmare. And I've said before, I have a plan. I am prepared to leave the United States should it be necessary. This isn't about taxes. This isn't about becoming a passport bro or anything like that. It's simply, what are the backup plans? And as many of you know, I have Argentinian citizenship. I was born there. I could go there if that became necessary, or I felt that it was the right thing. I could go through the process of obtaining Israeli citizenship, something that I don't have. And then there are these opportunities in Europe where if you buy property, you can get permanent residency. There are other programs where you can get citizenship. I'm not even thinking about that, but at least I know that there are European countries, Spain is one of them, where a property purchase would put me on the path to residency, legal residency. And so this is not a fringe thing. This is not something I ever thought that I would be considering. Polling finds, according to Harris, 40% of Americans have considered moving abroad. 14% are seriously thinking about it. 63% of Gen Z is thinking about it. 61% of LGBTQ Americans are thinking about it. This is millions and millions of people. And as is often the case, you know, the ultra rich are thinking about it as well. The wealthy, the wealthiest Americans New Zealand has become a popular one, but they're also looking at some of these abilities to purchase citizenship. There's a number of Caribbean options. Some have been looking at Turkey and a number of other countries. So sit with that for a second. Trump came in saying, I'm going to stop people from coming here. The United States is full. These immigrants are making the United States unsafe. But what we're seeing under Trump is a record number of citizens saying, I'm looking to leave. I'm not safe in the United States. I'm thinking of getting out. So there's a hypocrisy element to it. There's a credibility element to it. Like, if you can't even keep your own people from trying to leave, maybe you're not really running the safe, prosperous country you claim to be running. And this is a classic of authoritarian regimes. You look at 20th century authoritarian strongmen. They insisted, we are the envy of the world. Everybody wants to come here. And meanwhile, their citizens were actually desperate to leave. The former Soviet Union is an example. East Germany is an example. North Korea is an example. There's so many examples where the dear leader always insists, this is the beacon. This is the absolute best place. Everybody's trying to come here. And meanwhile, they have armed people at their borders so that individuals don't leave. We've seen it in the 20th century. We've seen it in the 21st in authoritarian regimes as well. And now it's happening right here in the United States.